Benjamin Sesko is very close to joining Arsenal Football Club, and Liverpool are apparently interested in Ollie Watkins. We're going to be breaking down these two reports. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you have subscribed. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of Ollie Watkins potentially playing in a Liverpool shirt? Now, this story come out of absolutely nowhere. And I'm going to say, disclosure, I don't know if it's the most reliable source, but there are plenty of journalists now out there linking Ollie Watkins to Liverpool. Now, Ollie Watkins in general had an unbelievable individual campaign. Aston Villa achieved a lot, don't get me wrong. They got into the Champions League for the first time in, I think, 20, maybe 30, 40 years. Ollie Watkins, though, was unbelievable that season. Last season just gone. In terms of individual campaigns, no one in the Premier League had more goal contributions than Ollie Watkins. 40 goal contributions in 50 games last season when you include the FA Cup qualifiers and the Conference League. Genuinely is a remarkable achievement that. 19 goals and 13 assists in the Premier League in 37 games. 5 goals in the Conference League and 3 goals in the Conference League qualifiers. Now he's 28. He's in the absolute peak of his powers. A goal scoring number 9. Only can really play the number 9. But wherever he's been, if you look at his record at Exeter, if you look at his record at Brentford, and now his record at Aston Villa, he's got 96 goal contributions in 169. 59 goals and 140 Premier League appearances. What Liverpool need is a killer. Darwin Núñez, for me, is a very raw animal of a striker. But the one thing he is not is clinical. He fights for the badge. He gives everything 100% every single match. And I think he is a talented forward. I definitely think he's a talented forward. But I don't think he is good enough to lead the number 9 role, lead the attack, to get Liverpool back to the Premier League, that they desperately want and desperately need. When you look at Liverpool's attack this season, if you actually look at the individual stats of Liverpool players in terms of, who scored the most, the numbers aren't as bad as a lot of people have made them out to be. I'm going to bring this up. This is from the BBC Sport. And it says, Mohamed Salah, obviously an absolute machine, right? Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz. Darwin Núñez got 18 goals in 54 games. Cody Gakpo got 16 in 53. Jota, much better return rate, 15 in 32. But the drop-off from Luis Diaz is quite significant. It's quite significant. Darwin Núñez, the thing that's he's at least, when I say least clinical, that's not an agenda. As you can see right there, shot conversion rate is at 14%. 14%. Luis Diaz is down there in 15%. Dominic Szoboszlai is 13%. Gravenberch, 13%. Harvey Elliott, 6%. Desperately need a clinical striker. They need an out-and-out number 9. For me, Ollie Watkins, in terms of, what's he got? I think he's got 2, maybe 3 years left on his. Now, of course, Ollie Watkins' contract expires June 30th, 2028. So if Liverpool were hypothetically to sign him, of course, he'd fit their system brilliantly. Number 9, but can play on either side. Responsible for 42% of Liverpool's goal contributions. You're talking a bid probably in the region of £70 million, I think, would be the figure to get Ollie Watkins out of an Aston Villa shirt. And not only that, he's a massive part of Unai Emery's plans. Of course, he himself has just signed a new contract with the club. So I don't necessarily think Ollie Watkins is a realistic option. They're back in the Champions League. Unai Emery has come out multiple times, said he's at Aston Villa for the long haul. He wants to, take this club back to the promised land. He wants to win major honors at this club. I don't necessarily think it's a realistic option. I'll tell you what could be realistic, and what is very, very realistic, is Benjamin Sesko to Arsenal is very, 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 very close now. According to various sources and reports, major breaking. This is coming out from John Cross, who's chief football writer for the and chair of Football Writers Association, coming out from the Mirror. And it says major breaking news. This was earlier this afternoon. Benjamin Sesko has said yes to Arsenal. Arsenal are readying a £45 million deal for the Slovenian international. And that is exclusive on via John Cross. Now, for me, statement signing that. It's a statement of intent to get your business done early before the Euro starts, which for me is magnificent. Ange Postecoglou at Spurs, my football club, has stressed that we need to get business done early. The Euros is only a couple of weeks away. We have got a massive, massive, massive month ahead of us. And when I look at the way clubs operate during the Euros, one or two good games in an international competition can make a player's price tag go through the roof. The likes of James Rodriguez, when he had an unbelievable campaign in the World Cup, all of a sudden he was a 75, 80 million pound player. This can happen. This can happen quite easily if Arsenal are linked with, I don't know, for instance, let's say Ollie Watkins to Liverpool. If Ollie Watkins scores a few more goals in the Euros, you might as well add 10 more million pounds to his price tag. Benjamin Sesko, though, a very raw player, number 9, who can lead the line, scored 14 goals last season in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig, 20 years of age. 20 years of age. Genuinely could be a superstar. And what a forward line RB Leipzig have had for the past number of years. Luis Openda, Benjamin Sesko, just players. 14 goals, 2 assists. Contract expires June 30th, 2028. PSG, Al Hilal, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And according to Transfer Market, there is a 63% chance Benjamin Sesko is going to be an Arsenal player. Now, when you look at the way Arsenal have operated the last 3 or 4 transfer windows, they are backing their manager to the absolute fullest. Of course, fans, are going to be very, very excited. But I think this is a long-term signing under Arteta. He himself is very close to signing a new contract with Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano come out today saying that both sides of the parties they're happy with it, And I think this is a very, very good signing for Arsenal. Young, hungry player, can play the number 9, good in the air, got a few flaws to his games. The playmaking side of it isn't quite there. Only 2 assists in the Bundesliga this season, but they're not bringing him in to be the assist guy. You're looking at a player who's 20 years of age, already in double digits in the Bundesliga, a very, very important player for RB Leipzig. Not their number 9, of course, they've got Openda, but still very, very important when it comes down to actually being a main impact in that team. And now you're looking at potentially going to be an Arsenal player. And when I look at Mikel Arteta 10 hours ago, Arsenal, Fabrizio Romano put out that both parties are very, very close to agreeing a new deal. He tweeted out this: Arsenal have already prepared their new contract proposal for Mikel Arteta to be discussed soon. Arsenal are super happy with Arteta. The feeling is mutual. Both want to keep it going with the current project together. Arteta will be one of the best paid managers in Europe. This is a statement of intent, I'm telling you. And I hope with all of my being that this project under Arteta completely derails. But when you're attracting players like Alexander Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, Zubamendi, Sesko, Gokares from Sporting. They are in a very, very, very strong position right now in terms of the players they can attract because they're in title races. They are in a very, very, very strong position. Very strong position right now. Like for me, I look at it and think if I was if I was Arsenal right now, I would be well behind trusting this process. They've got a plan. You got Edu on side, you got the Cronkies on side, you got the fans on side. Just go and now win the league. Go and win the title. That's what you'd want if you're an Arsenal fan. Looking in from the outside, I obviously pray and hope that doesn't happen. I've been calling this at Spurs. I wanted to see a plan. Now we've brought in Rob McKenzie, Johan Langer, Paratici, Ange Postecoglou, Scott Munn, everyone in terms of the footballing side at Spurs is all singing from the same hymn sheet. So I'm absolutely buzzing with this. I generally think right now the way Spurs are going is in the right direction. With Arsenal though, they're a few years down the line. They've got a good manager. They've got Edu's brought in a lot of good talent. They're probably 2 pieces away from going out there and winning the Premier League title next season. And let's not forget, this is potentially Guardiola's last Premier League season as a manager. So the way I look at it, whoever they're prepared to bring in is going to have to be a very, very, very strong candidate to replace Pep Guardiola. You're talking a very, 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 very small, minute bunch of managers out there. And for me, the way I see it, unless they bring in a Xabi Alonso, I do think he's Madrid bound. I don't know any other available managers that potentially could go and step in those shoes. Carlo Ancelotti will be 64, 65 years of age. Jose, I don't think he'd take that job. Motta's just joined Juventus. All the young managers' company, Daniele De Rossi, are in roles already. I don't think there's too many in there that they could attract. Maybe the Girona manager, who's doing very well, obviously part of the City group as well. But I think by that time, Arsenal would have probably bought in Isak, Zubimendi, or an Edison or Sesko and be a year further down the line on their development and probably within touching distance of winning the Premier League. So for Arsenal fans, it's about staying patient, trusting this process and kind of seeing where you're at. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Let me know your thoughts. Will Ollie Watkins end up as a Liverpool player? Will Sesko be an Arsenal player very soon? Thank you all for watching. I am